A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadil Cabrera. Absolutely glad that you're joining us for a political conversation this fine Monday, a conversation that I hope will build this country as we're progressing with Ruto's administration talks on bipartisan team, and also 2027 talks are already here. Should we be talking about that? This is according to Herman Manyora, who's seated right here telling Mudavadi to defy Ruto, telling Gachagua to defy Ruto and take over power. Why are you talking about 2027 and we had an election last year, Prof?
But everybody, even the president, everybody's campaigning.
How are you though?
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm okay.
Everyone is campaigning.
They are all on top of the cars. Instead of being in the offices, they are on rooftops. So wanaongea ukiwa kwa magari juu.
Shida yetu ni gani?
That's campaign.
What is the problem with Africans?
We love campaign. Kenya? We love drama.
Instead of working.
Yeah, we don't want to work. Then we go and beg. Yes. We love drama, we waste time moving from village to village, church to church, hamlet to hamlet, and we spend and waste, then we go and beg. Tunapanda ndege kwenda kuomba. Interesting
that you've said waste. Is this something we are seeing with the Kenya Kwanza administration, even before wasteful. We talk about 2027?
It's wasteful. And I've told them, stop wastage. To move the president to Kisi, like he was there over the weekend, I challenge them to table the figures. It's a lot of money moving the president around the country.
It will shock us.
It will shock you if the figures were put here. Official and unofficial amounts of money spent.
I follow some of them and I see them on.
Because the county comes to a standstill. Kisi County, the amount of interest drawn by people on the presidential function, the amount of mobilization done, the expense the county will incur because of hosting the president, and then moving the president himself, the entire infrastructure you create to move the president. So much money. And I feel for this country. Listen, and I don't understand why they can't be like me. Why can't they feel for their grandchildren?
Some would argue if the president comes, it's bringing a lot of businesses to these hotels.
No, it's wastage. Wastage is not business. I was there during Moi's time, and I know during Moi's time it was worse. But then the things of this world were not what they are today. So Moi's was not as wasteful. But let me tell you, a whole 30 days, a whole month before the president comes to Kakamega, there are advanced parties there from the special branch, from where. 30 days, all hotel rooms are booked. A third world country that you'll go and beg tomorrow.
Then how do you balance?
No, me, it hurts me so much.
How do you balance as the president if you're going for the next term, you want to be
No, I will not do it. I'll just do the right things. And I repeat this. I've said this about the president, President Ruto. I'll say it about any president in this country. Just do the right things. Deliver on your promises. Where you find challenges, share with the people of Kenya that we said we'll do this. Looks like for now it is not possible. Or we can only do so much for now. Or we need some little time, we need some space, but for now we are able to do the following. But always work for the people of Kenya. You can have partners, IMF, World Bank, but don't let them step on your people. Just do the right thing. Well, when it comes to politics, play the politics understanding the ecosystem in which you live and operate. Just know that you got 50% of the votes. There's somebody else who got 50%. And this country is a tribal country. And there are people who believe you stole the election, even if you didn't steal the election. So you play the politics knowing that everything is easy. You don't need to fight. I've said, why are you lighting so many fires and then proceeding to put off the fires?
If you were told to assess the current administration and how it is working, sort of behaving, how would you assess it in terms, I don't really have ratings, but how would you assess them?
No, they are running away from what they should be doing, and they are creating their own field and their own rules and playing there. Just go back to the pitch and play. Go to the pitch and play. Play politics that will be a reflection of your understanding of the situation. Deal with the economy the way you understand it and the way you know will benefit the people of Kenya. There are a number of low-hanging fruits the president can pluck. Deal with the corruption to create more money to use to implement your policies by cutting down on corruption Corruption will free some money for you to use. Then you borrow less. Don't allow people to do business with the government. What I mean is, people are using their positions to enrich themselves and become instant billionaires. Stop that. It may come later when the economy is doing good, well. But the way the economy is behaving today, ministers, directors, principal secretaries, and the rest of these people, chairmen, cannot use their positions the way we are seeing to create billions for themselves. No, not now. Not now. Now is the time to sacrifice, even at the top level. Because when you go into office, there are people who want to use their support for you to cut deals, to make deals with the government. For now, stop it, because the economy will collapse.
Now, it seems like you're spreading the message of fear to the president.
Which fear? I'm just telling the president from where we stand as ordinary people, small little fellows like us, we can see many of the people in government are using their positions to make billions. And I will not be surprised if people who never handled 100 million are going to be billionaires in the next, by now, maybe they're already billionaires.
You know, you said...
Mutai, not Mutai Nguyen, this guy called Grand Mullah, Ahmed Nasir. He kept talking of $4 billionaires in the Uhuru government. We are going to see some dollar billionaires. And I'm telling the president, please, if it is true, stop it.
You've said you are serving the president, and now you're going to his people too. You know he has problems with Raila. And now you're coming and advising him to go to look at Rigathi, Gachagua and Mudavadi as potential threats too.
I'm just opening his eyes.
Are you serving the president well?
I'm opening his eyes. So he should politics is about negotiating. Power is negotiated. Power is
negotiation.
Some of the problems Raila has is he has not been negotiating power. After NASA defeat, something as little as the political party's funding, Raila was holding. Instead of using it to negotiate his way for the next election with Wetangula and the Kalonzo Musyoka. Power is always negotiated. So at this time, Ruto must know, if he doesn't want to suffer the same fate Raila suffered with his core principles, he must learn how to negotiate with Mudavadi to stay in power. How to negotiate with
Gachagua.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Power is negotiated.
What did Uhuru see when he was dealing with Raila that you probably think Ruto isn't seeing, or because you probably think they have a deal? What should Ruto do to deal with Raila now?
You see, Raila is a man who is more powerful than any other individual in this country, including the president. That is a fact. You know, living with the truth is always very important. But what you do with the truth is what defines whether you succeed or not. Accepting that Raila is the most powerful individual in the country is good for Ruto. It was good for Uhuru. Good for Kibaki. They knew this is a powerful man. He doesn't have state power, but he can bring the country to a standstill. So the way you deal with a man like this is to go for his weaknesses. Look, what weaknesses does Raila have? To attack the weaknesses. And we all know, and Ruto should know. Where is Raila weak? He's soft underbelly. Go for it.
Unaweza tuambia moja?
No. Now I'm becoming mean. I want people to pay me for advice. Yeah. Instead of thinking you can fight Raila, you can't fight him in the streets. It's like fish in water. You bring the fish from water and it dies. So Raila, you bring him from you put him in mandamanos, you try to be in conflict with Raila. He knocks you. Look at Eldoret. They were shouting, gee, the governor BOs, gee, what mandamano, nothing. What did Raila do? In one snide remark, B was down, grounded.
Okay.
You can't wrestle Raila. You can't take on Raila.
Now, there are two things I think we're talking about. Is Ruto working for the people and also dealing with his politics. Where should he start now? Because
work for the people of Kenya. There are no two things. Any government that works for the people never fails. You can never fail if you work for the people. Never, never, never. You give yourself a lot of trouble for nothing. You carry so much weight for nothing. Yet the simplest thing will be to work for the people of Kenya. And that will be the end of the story.
You don't need to nego with Raila.
No, what Raila will be relevant. Stop talking about Raila. I laughed. Jews walikuwa church. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
I was shocked. I mean, I'm using the word shock because actually I was shocked. The sermon turned into Raila and they're in the middle, right in church. Every speaker is addressing Raila. Find how powerful is this one individual they fear. In church yesterday, they turned on Raila. Inside church.
Reinforcing your belief that Raila is the most powerful.
He's the most powerful person
in this.
And let me tell you about something. This is simple psychology. Psychology 101.
Yeah.
Men hate the men. Men hate themselves for fearing another man. You hate yourself for fearing somebody. These guys inside, something is eating them inside.
Why
they fear Raila? So the reaction, these things they are saying, is a reaction, is a psychological defense strategy. You are fighting with the fact that you fear Raila.
I don't think we'll do this show justice if we don't talk about Raila too, though. How should he behave now with this Raila Odinga, with this President William Ruto? Should he go the same way he went before with Kibaki, Uhuru, for his followers' sake?
You know, it's difficult being Raila, number one. Number two, I basically do not know Raila's end game. Because there's 2027, you can destabilize Ruto so that come 2027, you run against him or you support Kalonzo and he beats him. That could be one of his end game. Secondly, second option is you can stabilize Ruto to the point of him exiting State House before 2027. That is also a possibility. Another possibility is you can force Ruto into Bomas. And when you force him into Bomas, you work out smart enough for things to go beyond what Ishungwa and Ruto think. That can then produce benefits to the people of Kenya and immediate capital to Raila Odinga. You can also push things, and this is, I think, what foreigners are pushing. Because I think foreigners, I may be wrong, but I think the foreign powers believe the only way you can have stability now in this country is if there is a power sharing deal. So again, one of the end games will be to produce a power sharing deal. And I highly suspect Ruto and Raila are already in some form of deal. Yeah. So all these things are just a small screen or to smooth land everybody.
Okay.
So that finally when it comes, it looks like it was inevitable.
Okay.
And people accept it. Knowing very well the country is against power sharing, the country is against Nusumkate, the country is against handshake and all these other names. And that's why they may be a little cautious, herding the country and the leaders around them. Pole pole mpaka waingia kwa deep. Wakitokea kwa deep wako clean.
Ito kuingia box.
Nusu mkate inaingia.
Maybe finally you can tell the hustlers out here that are thinking about Ruto, Raila. We've talked about work and politics, which is play for them, and they're thinking, look, are these people going to fight for us? Are these people really caring about us? Is this, what would you tell them?
Any of these struggles Raila has been engaged in, frankly speaking, have produced something. If we are to be honest with ourselves, there's always something beneficial to the country. So if you look at it that way, the struggles now that Raila is engaged in, at the end of the day, there will be some benefit to the country. Just as if you trace his struggles over time, for the past 30 years or so, there has always been some good results from the fight, including things like the constitution, a few changes in the way we do our things, and so on and so forth, electoral laws, etc., etc. But beyond that, I don't think politicians engage in their thing with the people in mind. No, I don't think. Because if politicians cared about the people, even within the limited space they have had, this country would be very far.
So your message is, you do your thing, don't worry about the politics that are in play. That is your message to Kenyans.
Yeah, well, I try to push. The people will also try to push for a better Kenya. If they think these people will deliver to them a good Kenya, then they are daydreaming. They must fight for a better Kenya. Whenever an opportunity presents itself, Kenyans must push their leaders Because if you sleep, the leaders will enjoy their game at your expense.
All right, good place to wrap up. Thank you so much for tuning in into this conversation. If you're daydreaming and thinking that these politicians will fix things for you, then you're living in another world. Until we do talk again, have yourself a lovely week ahead.